This video is just going to be an overview on how myself should be playing Cypher, but also to help you all learn and understand my playstyle. I do recommend watching other Cypher players as they might be more fitting to your playstyle or shine new light on setups. Depending on the agents and the way the enemy plays, you'll need different setups, and you'll need to position yourself differently. I suggest going into your own customs and learning new trips, one-ways, cameras, and positions. There will always be a solution to what you need. If you look around your screen, on the bottom left it will tell you the map and the site. On the bottom right it will tell you the location of where you'll be holding from. If it says experimental on the top right, it means that I have no idea what I'm doing, but based on my knowledge of what you can do with Cypher, this is my best guess, and I highly suggest finding other setups. For this site, I recommend having a guy on cat to follow up with your trips.
This goes here. Wow, this is a nice spot. Yes, this should do.
The cam lets you see most of site. The trip toward the door stops the door push. The trip next to stairs stops the push on site. And the cage on dice lets you peek off your trips and reposition away from the box on heaven.
This goes here. Wow, this is a nice spot. That goes there. Here. Yes, this should do. This is a nice spot.
This cam forces the enemy to change their crosshair placement. Everything else is about the same as the heaven play, it's just now on site, with a one-way and a cage on site to reposition.
This goes here. Yes, this should do. That goes there.
The tripwire on cat next to the vase you would want to use if you don't have anyone on cat. The one on generator is an alternative trip that you might want to use if they've figured out the other ones. If they figure out the other ones, you really have no other tripwires to block the door. And the one right under you is going to be good for if they like to take heaven and they don't have mobility to easily get onto heaven. On this site, there should be a guy market or CT depending on where you play and depending on how they like to take site.
This is a nice spot. Yes, this should do. That goes there. This goes here.
This cam lets you see on lane and into main. The trips are used to stop people going into lane, switch, or onto stairs/CT.
This is a nice spot. Yes, this should do. This goes here. That goes there.
This is a secondary cam for if they figure out the one on top, the trip on the switch, and then a trip on the site to stop people from getting to you easily, and a cage to play around when taking fights. Throw a trip on stairs to stop entrance and exits, throw a trip on the door to stop entrance and exits as well, and this is for if they try to take lane.
Yes, this should do.
Depending on how your team wants to play it, you are either going to need a tripwire for drop/dish or someone watching drop/dish.
That goes there.
The cam is used for if they are planning so that you can tag them. The trips are there for you to fight with, and the cages is so that you can play around the trips. It's the same setup except you don't need a cage for protection. This is the trip for drop. You know, I've never seen this one be used, but I'll be honest, it might work. It might catch someone off guard. On this site, I recommend that you have arcade cleared so that you can just focus on main without having to worry about arcade.
This goes here. Wow, this is a nice spot. Yes, this should do.
This cam lets you look at main, site, and arcade. The vertical trip is to stop anyone cutting into cubby, the other is to hold sight. And the cage on site is for you to fight or reposition. You can also play canteen with the setup.
That goes there. This goes here. Oh, this is a nice spot. That goes there. Yes, this should do.
The cam focuses more on sight and arcade and is a replacement for if they know the other cam. The trips are for if they like to plant cubby. If no one wants to help you toward arcade, that trip toward gen will help you, and the trip on tower here will also help you.
This is a nice spot. This goes here. That goes there. Yes, this should do. This goes here. Ah, this is a nice spot.
The cam is to give info if short or long peaks first, so you know how to play around the box. The two trips are there to stop the plant and the push. Cages are there for protection.
Ah, this is a nice spot. Yes, this should do. That goes there. This goes here. Ah, this is a nice spot.
It's the same setup as the other one, except you can now make a play by jumping onto the box on the left. I suggest not playing on B site, but if you are left with no other option, this is what I would do.
Yes, this should do. Ah, this is a nice spot. That goes there.
If you want to keep cam on site, I suggest putting it on the opposite side of where you are standing.
This goes here.
If you want to try an aggressive camera, these are my aggressive cameras. One that looks into window and one that looks onto grass. You don't have to fully commit to see. If you want, you can put a trip on garage. This cam lets you see how they take sight so that you can be prepared. The trip on the box to main is to protect you, and if you want, you can throw a trip on logs. And the cage is for you to play around. The cam is for info on grass, and the cage is a one-way. Here's an alternative trip and a aggressive cam for info. If you want, you can throw the same trips and you can just run mid and watch mid with your camera.
Yes, this should do. That goes there.
The cam gives you early info, and you can put a cage on yourself to play off your two tripwires.
This goes here. Ah, this is a nice spot.
Same cam and for 10 trip, just a trip to stop safe plant and a cage to play off of.
That goes there.
This cam allows you to see a lot more of sight and isn't for info, and that tripwire blocks anyone trying to take rope or go up. For the two cams that you'll see on B, they both have blind spots.
Ah, this is a nice spot. Yes, this should do. This goes here.
The cam gives info on where to peek first, on back yellow or close to you.
That goes there. Yes, this should do. This goes here. That goes there.
This cam is only for info, so you know how to take your gunfights. The trip on danger stops anyone going further, and the trip on default stops plant. These trips stop the take onto site or the plant.
This is a nice spot. This goes here. That goes there. This goes here. Ah, this is a nice spot. That goes there. This goes here.
For this, you want to play passively for the retake. the cam lets you see if they're coming out of main first. The trips are to stop them from going further past sight, and the cage on tree is for retake.
Yes, this should do. Wow, this is a nice spot. This goes here.
This aggression allows you to fight for sight rather than giving it.
Yes, this should do. That goes there. Wow, this is a nice spot. This goes here.
The cam is at an off angle so they can mess up their crosshair placement. The trips block the C-link, and the trip in the spiral is for if they like to plant in the spiral. You use the cage to play around. If you want to play on B upper or C link, just throw cages in front of you for you to play around.
Yes, this should do.
If you want, you can throw this tripwire to stop them from going up to B upper, and you can just throw any of these trips down in the spiral if you'd like.
This goes here. Yes, this should do. Wow, this is a nice spot. That goes there. Yes, this should do. Wow, this is a nice spot.
This setup is to fight and not let them onto sight. If you want, you can play close up to the box, just know it is wall bangable. If you want some alternative tripwires, use these Lotuses on the floor. I recommend trying your best to experiment with these.
Wow, this is a nice spot. That goes there. This goes here.
For Pearl A, you can play on site or dugout. You can throw this camera and throw that cage and play off of everything here. These are the tripwires that you would be using
Goes there.
if you're gonna play on site or dugout.
Yes, this should do. Wow, this is a nice spot. That goes there. Yes, this should do. Wow, this is a nice spot. That goes there.
The cam is used to play off of info to see if they start to take the site. That's when you activate your cage and play off your trips. Here are some more tripwires that you can use.
That goes there. Wow, this is a nice spot.
It's been a while since I've last played on this map, so I actually don't know the setups properly, and so I wouldn't trust them right now.
That goes there. Wow, this is a nice spot. Yes, this should do. This goes here.
The cam lets you see main, and since we are in elbow, we are playing aggressive. The cage next to screen lets us run away.
Yes, this should do. Wow, this is a nice spot. Here. This goes here. That goes there. Wow, this is a nice spot.
The cam lets you see where they are going, either on site or to rope/heaven. The cage on main is a one-way, and the cage on you is for you to reposition with. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I know most of you guys came here either in support or for the setups, but either way, you watching the video is supporting me. I want to maybe try and do more educational stuff like this, but I still want to make it interesting. The next couple of Valorant videos will be montages of me and my Valorant ranked games for episode 6. As for plans after that, I have no clue what I will do with Valorant, and so if you want to see more Valorant, hit the like so I know to do more Valorant. Other than that, thank you.